Omarosa's claims about WikiLeaks and Mueller. Do we know how significant this really is? Because this is not about whether or not Omarosa was a high-level person in the White House or whether she has credibility. She's somebody that potentially has tapes.
It raises two immediate questions about Ms. Manigault Newman. One, is she really a witness for Robert Mueller's investigation, someone providing information about what went on during the campaign? And it also raises questions about WikiLeaks and Mueller's, the scope of his investigation. We've been hearing for weeks now that associates of Roger Stone, the longtime Trump advisor, have been under Mueller's microscope. And if Ms. Manigault Newman is offering information to Mueller about what she heard in the Trump campaign, maybe about Roger Stone and or his associates, or WikiLeaks, or Julian Assange, or the Clinton dirt that was supposedly being dug up by different operatives, that would provide a window for Mueller into what the campaign knew beyond just that meeting in the summer of 2016 with the Russian lawyer.
Eddie, it's no surprise that President Trump went after Omarosa. That's his jam. She went after him. He went after her. But here's what Sarah Sanders said about it.
I think that he has made a number of comments about plenty of people, and to try to single that out to one group is frankly silly, because I think if you did a comparison, he's probably got a lot more nasty things out there about some other people.
Okay, so what do you make of this? She's basically saying, well, it wasn't racist, it was just nasty. But does that make it okay?
No, not at all. And look, we don't need proof that Donald Trump is a racist by finding a tape where he used the N-word. If that's the case, then we have a very narrow understanding of what characterizes racist behavior. It's not just simply using racial insult. What is important, though, is that the way in which he deploys this language, dog, animal, infestation,
fat pig,
breeders, right? It draws on a history of stereotype. Language doesn't exist apart from the context in which we use it. It doesn't exist apart from the histories that we use it. So the moment you use a word in a context that in relation to a group of people who have been castigated in a particular sort of way, even though you may use the same word to describe a white male, the moment you use it to describe a white female or an African American or a Latino, it carries a different register. So this is silliness on the part of Sarah Sanders. It's silliness on the part of the Trump people. I call everybody dogs. Well, one thing it says to me, at least, is that you're an indecent human being. We know that. And another thing that we know is that in the context of your historical behavior, it's just another indication that you profoundly racist.
I want to talk about decency. I want to.
I think the big problem this country has is being politically correct. I've been challenged by so many people, and I don't frankly have time for total political correctness. And to be honest with you, this country doesn't have time either. Frankly, what I say, and oftentimes it's fun, it's kidding, we have a good time, what I say is what I say.
Oftentimes it's fun, it's kidding. He sounds like Biff from Back to the Future, and we remember he ended up in a pile of manure. When you talk to Republicans, you're a Republican, Noel. No, but I know. When I see the president do this, it's as though he's conflating two issues.
Right.
Being indecent and political correctness. There are plenty of people who are exhausted by extreme political correctness, who do not want to rename their Christmas party the Snowflake Bonanza.
Gotcha.
I get that. But what the president is doing here is disgraceful. And while it might not be the law, it is our expectation for our president to conduct himself as a moral leader.
Right, and you're right with what you said, you're right. Both of you are right. We are dealing with someone that has not been in politics. We are dealing with somebody that came from a reality show in real estate.
I don't come from politics, but I'm pretty sure I don't call anybody here big fat losers.
But I'm not making an excuse. I'm just telling you what you guys already know, that Donald Trump, this is who he is. And on the tapes that you just rolled with him saying, this is funny, this is what I do, he's crude, this is him. And he announced it on the tapes, this is who I am. So we're all talking about it, saying you need to shape it up, you need to stop using this language, you need to, straighten up and fly right and close your mouth. Donald Trump is just saying, this is who I am.
And
So
people
I'm
voted for,
not
and you
even
know what?
defending it, but his base is backing it up. They're backing him up. Look, and every time the mainstream media comes at Trump saying, "What are you doing? You know, you shouldn't be using these words. You shouldn't say this." Da 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 da. They think they're picking him apart. You know, he's doing so good with job creation and with the economy. Look what he's given us. This just reinforces the base.
Noel, I'm 100% with you, but then here's what's stunning. They then continue to lie about the economy, and I wonder if it ever makes a difference. Robert, to you, Noel brings up a great point that no matter what President Trump said, or if there's a tape, I don't think anyone who voted for him last time is going to change their vote. Right. But given the narrative that we're hearing, and so many people who are just not enthused about voting in the last election, they were not inspired by Hillary Clinton. Will Trump's reprehensible behavior inspire more people to show up to the polls who didn't? Because it seems that votes aren't going to get changed, but are new votes going to appear en masse in response to the president's conduct?
It's hard to predict what's going to happen in the midterm elections, but if you're thinking, Stephanie, about suburban voters, let's say suburban parents, suburban moms and dads, who are looking at this kind of language, charged racial language, using the word dog to talk about an African-American woman, you do wonder, would that push them perhaps towards the center, towards the Democrats? But then again, Stephanie, think back to 2016. The people who voted in the suburbs for President Trump then knew that he made the comments about President Obama being a birther back in 2011 and 2012. They knew all of it. They knew he called illegal immigrants animals. This was all there, and they still voted for him, many of them, in 2016. So this expectation that Democrats may have that there's somehow the Omarosa Manigault-Newman incident is somehow going to change things. Well, I just haven't seen data on that.
Yeah. I agree with that.
I love him because that's right.
I agree with that point. But tell me about how Republicans feel. And I don't mean Republican voters. I mean Republican lawmakers. I mean all of those people who work inside this administration, who already have seen people leave the administration and, unlike other administrations, have a really hard time getting a job. If they continue to stay and things get deeper and lower and they're going, yep, I'm standing by the guy who says this, that, and the other thing, is this posing a real challenge for them? You talk to them.
Well, I mean, it's a twofold deal. And I'm not telling you guys any big shebang, any big deal, any earth-shattering news. But the thing of it is, do people behind Trump's back go, oh my gosh, I really can't believe, you know, how he's acting or these words or whatnot? It's unprofessional.
But yes, it's more than behind his back. They're professionally standing by his side.
He is the president of the United States. He is a Republican. Stephanie, what do you expect that the Republican Party and everybody, every operative, everybody working in the industry, everybody running for office, what do you think? What are they supposed to do? What about people that were Democrats that didn't agree with Obama? What about people when Bill Clinton was elected and he had all the shebang going on with, you know, Monica Lewinsky and they didn't agree with it?
What about courage, if you don't? What about the country?
Where are they going to go? Where do they go?
They become independents. Do things in defense
and I'm
of the country.
not challenging you. Like I'm not challenging you.
I guess I'm just asking. Look, I would think that if I went to Washington and I worked in administration, I'd be under the assumption when I would leave, I would have job offers coming out my ears. Name one member of the administration who left, who now is doing something extraordinary or better than when they came.
I mean, Reince Priebus
is doing what?
Is doing lobbying, working for a firm. He's got more income than he was making. I mean, look. I mean, if you're saying that the Republicans are all ecstatic about the Twitter and the, you know, my button's bigger than yours and all this stuff that's going down, all this rhetoric, right. No. But the thing of it is, they're looking, and this, I'm not making the argument. I'm just looking at this from where the GOP what we have to stand on. And the fact of it is, the economy is doing well, and people see it. All right, but they see it.
This is the
They see it.
But what is the argument of the Democratic Party?
I have to turn to Eddie, and I just want to go back to decency for a moment.
Yeah.
Before you can have money in your pocket, before you can thrive, you have to have self-respect. And Frank Bruni has a really good piece where he writes, The problem with being Donald Trump isn't just being Donald Trump. It is all the other lesser Trumps around you. It is the versions of yourself that you create, the echoes of yourself that you inspire. They devour you in the end. Omarosa, Michael Cohen, Paul Manafort, Mike Flynn, Rick Gates. Are these lesser Trumps coming back to haunt him? For all of those good GOP members who have been family values Republicans their whole lives, now they are sleeping in the swamp with reprehensible creatures.
But his candidates are winning in the midterm. The endorsed candidates are winning in the
their
midterm.
primaries.
Right.
Right. But let's be very clear here. I don't want to give Trump too much power. Trump.
I'm going to let you know he's a president.
I know. I don't want to give him too much power. What he's done is provided an occasion for people to show who they are. He's not created all of these folks. He's not the cause or the reason why people are indecent. He's just given them an occasion to be indecent. Greed,
maybe he's making it okay.
Greed, selfishness, narcissism isn't the sole possession of Donald Trump.
He's given us license to let our free flags fly.
To be mean, to be hate, to be mean-spirited. Now, let me say this really quickly. In 1967, Dr. King gave a speech in Stanford University, and he said, and I'm paraphrasing, he came to understand that people were more upset over the dogs attacking the children than they were about racial inequality. They were more upset by the brutishness, right, of the sheriff in Birmingham than they were about segregation. So you got this question of decency and decorum, and folk don't give a damn about justice. Okay. They don't give a damn about the country. So what I'm saying here is this, right? Donald Trump has created a condition for grifters, for people who are narcissistic, who don't give a damn about America, who definitely don't give a damn about everyday working people, to take advantage of them. They're the robber barons of the 21st century. And if Republicans are so invested in their brand, they're so invested in getting judges, they're so invested in overturning basic policies in HUD that will allow us to track segregation, if they want to get for-profit colleges to make money, if they want to deregulate so that communities that are suffering under pollution, people are dying of cancer, if that's what they want, then we need to call them for who they are. We need to say who they are. And they're not just simply the result of Donald Trump. They are who they are.
We're going to drop the mic with that one.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.